I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera. We are sponsored by The Human Bean in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I'm excited to be back here at Lincoln County School District with Dr. Majalise Tolan.
Hey, welcome back.
Yay! We usually do these more frequently, but because of insane schedules and a crazy school year,
exactly,
we haven't been able to get together since like the start of the school year.
No, we haven't. Yeah.
So we've got a lot to catch up on. So first of all, Dr. Tolan, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Taking time to spend with us. Tell us a little bit about, let's kind of recap the school year, how things have been, lots of things have been going on. You had the bond measure passed, and you've been keeping Mr. Baloney incredibly busy with that.
Yeah, good. I'd love to start off with the bond, and it has been a very exciting year in Lincoln County. We kicked off the year with our staff with a photo booth of construction gear and let people put hard hats on because almost all of our buildings have had some level of construction going on this year, and our staff and our students and our families have been amazing. When we've had to redo drop-off line, or when we've had different, you can't have recess outside for a month because you're getting a turf field and you'll be able to be outside all the time. I mean, all of those things that have happened, the schools have just been wonderful about putting it into practice and being able to put the bond dollars to work as quickly as possible. Some of the projects that we've really been focusing on is the safety items with getting the blue buttons in the buildings so that we're able to notify law enforcement, just like we can notify fire department if there is an intruder or somebody who shouldn't be in our space.
We're going to say, God forbid.
Exactly. Totally. It's not anything we ever want to have happen, but we want to, if we have the potential to be prepared, then we want to be prepared. So those are some of the first things. The new security camera systems that we've been putting into buildings have been fantastic. We've also been really focusing on outside play, getting any of the play sheds that needed to be repaired, getting the plans for new play sheds done for the schools that didn't have them. We've been working on the turf field so that we can have kids outside absolutely as much as possible for recess. So, and those are great for community to be able to have places for t-ball practice and flag football practice and all of those things. So those have been a big area of focus, as well as the 3 new auditoriums. So we've not broken ground yet on an auditorium.
I haven't heard about any groundbreaking yet at any of them.
There hasn't been a groundbreaking yet, but we're moving forward, and we have our plans ready to go. And so we're going through the approval process now for what that will look like, and just really excited. I just finished off going to 3 of our school plays. We have one coming up still at Newport High, and just being there. The first one I went to was Young Frankenstein up at Taft 712.
We promoted that.
It was
How did it go?
It was great. They did a fantastic job, and I sat in the back, and so I was able to watch the sound and lighting crew. They had a student working the brand new sound equipment and lighting equipment, and watching the caliber of that production, and then going to the other schools that just don't have that type of equipment yet, or a stage that's set up like that, was really exciting to see it coming to life on stage for students, and then to know where our other actors and actresses are going to be soon when they get their theater spaces. So that was really exciting. Let's see, Toledo put on the Brothers Grimm Spectacular-thon, which was absolutely adorable. It's great when you go out there too, because they just pack the place, and they're in their cafeteria, and people are just excited to be in there and to watch theater. So they're doing a fantastic job. And then last night, actually, I went to Walport High for their final showing of Radium Girls. It was a little over 3 hours, and I remember when I heard that, I was like, that's a long night. And it went so fast. It was one of the best high school productions I think I've ever watched. Just phenomenal actors and actresses. They had all their life. I mean, that's a long show for anyone to have all of their life. You know better than I do, because you were so involved in the theater.
When you said 3 hours, I was going, oh.
I know. And it was fantastic. It was riveting the whole time. And just so impressed with all 3 of our schools. And Taft's is a musical. the one that they did at Toledo, they had students who, as part of the play, would maybe in one scene have to play 7 different characters.
That's always so fun.
Yeah, and it was just so fun to watch, but so much work for the students to do that. So it's just impressive to see. Toledo's had a lot of audience interaction too. That was fun. Newport High's coming up May 28th.
I was just going to ask what Newport is doing.
Yeah, Newport High's is on May 28th at 7 p.m. and it's a series of 3 murder mysteries. So they'll have 3 different plays within one night that are all murder mysteries that they're showing. So I'm excited to go to Newport High and see that one as well.
That's going to be fun. Jenny always does a phenomenal job with the kids, and they always enjoy it so much. Yes,
it's so fun to watch and to see, parents and community and family members that are loving watching their children perform. It just is it's heartwarming to see. So
that's awesome, and it's really great for the students because it helps them to express their creativity. It helps with reading, memorization, all these things that they're going to need moving forward in their next career.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've talked to you about this before too, that in our house, theater was used because my son has a memory disability. And so we had him in theater when he was younger because he wanted to do well and he would work on memorization for his lines. So it's got a special place in my heart too because of what that has done for my own child through the arts. And so,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
What about sports? How did sports do this year?
They're still going, so they're doing well. Taft baseball is currently ranked first in state, and so they will have their first state playoff game next week. Toledo baseball and softball both have qualified for state, and then we have a number of track athletes. They will be competing in their districts now, and then they move into state up in Eugene the following week. So athletics are still going strong. Waldport in the athletic realm of the CTE world, Waldport just won their 7th straight state championship in forestry. So we're very, very excited for them and to see how they are doing. So that's been great as well. And then we just wrapped up the state season for the arts. So you can also compete in choir and band at state.
Ooh,
so Waldport, isn't it great? Waldport Choir was just named the OSAA Team of the Month, which is really, really cool to see. We had 3 of our schools, Newport High, Taft 712, and Waldport High, all were able to compete at the state level, which means you have to be in the top 8 performing groups in your division. And so to have all of those schools qualify for state this year was really, really exciting to see.
I'm so excited to hear that because not all students are athletes. Yet it seems like, the athletic programs and the sports programs kind of get the spotlights more than the arts. So that's exciting to hear.
Yeah, it's been a great spring. Everyone's been busy. And I saw on social media that Waldport did a state send-off for their choir when they left for state. And it's a lot of work. I watched one of their rehearsals right before they left for state, and just phenomenal program, especially for our small schools to be growing like that. Toledo's is growing as well. And so we look forward to seeing where all of that goes.
All right, and let's talk a little bit about upcoming graduation.
I know.
Happy and sad at the same time. I know one of my dear friends just took her son to sign up and register for his senior year of high school. And she was like,
I know.
And the kids are like, whatever. Yeah. And I remember taking my son, Nick, and registering him for his senior year at Newport High and coming out and going, and the tears were flowing. Yeah. And he looked at me and went, "It's not a big deal. It's just registration, Mom." I'm like, "I've been doing this for 12 years.
Yeah, I hear you. I have a senior, so I'm feeling it.
I was like,
I know. Yeah. So graduations we're getting ready. This month, the month of May, is decision day at all of our schools. They all have a different day where all of our students declare what they're doing for the following year, because our goal is that they all have a plan that they want to see move forward with, regardless of what that plan looks like. And so they're all declaring that. Right now, I think Newport's is on Thursday. I think Taft's is next week, that they get to declare that in front of their family and friends and students, and it's awesome. And then graduations start on the 5th, so the Friday the 5th. Toledo's is at 4 o'clock, followed by Waldport High at 6:30. And then the next day, we have Taft at 10:26 and Newport High at 5. And I can't remember if I told you how that started.
Yeah, I was just going to say, isn't there a tradition with that time? And I don't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's the class of 2010. Thought it would be really fun to graduate at 210. And here we are. we just continued it. And then when we tried to make it so that we could attend all of the graduations in Lincoln County, and that one moved from 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. Principal Lupo said, "Can I leave the minutes? Because the kids really want the minutes." And we're like, "Sure, leave the minutes." So 10/26 will be when they graduate this year.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations to all of our seniors. And that includes the charter schools as well.
Yes.
So let's segue into how the school district works with the charter schools. Eddyville, you have two now.
We have two.
Eddyville and Silet.
Yeah, so they're really their own entities, and the district is the sponsor that holds that charter. And so what that means is that when there might be some different grant funding that might funnel through our way, state school fund funnels this way, and then it goes to the schools based on their ADM enrollment, just like it would go with ours. And so their administration has the opportunity to come to some of our meetings if they want to, but really they have their own school boards, they have their own set of policies, they have all of their own functioning, their own HR department, business office, all of that. So we're here on the side, and then they run their school systems.
Now you support them as well. If they need some help with something, is there some support that the school district gives?
For sure, yeah. If they have questions or if they need things,
Trainings, anything like that?
It's optional. Okay. So yeah, but we also provide special education services at their schools. We work really closely with their Title I departments, and so it just depends on what needs they might have. We offer the Tribal Attendance Promising Practices Grant through Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, Lincoln County School District. That's housed at Siletz, so it's part of Siletz Valley School, as well as at Toledo Elementary School. And then Title VI, which is the Indian Education Program. It's a federal program. We run all of that as well at the two charters, so both charters have the Title VI program.
All right. Yeah. And you've been really busy recently with putting together the budget.
Yeah.
I mean, it is budget season everywhere. Let's talk a little bit about how things are looking for next year.
Yeah. So probably not where any of us would want. Last year, we had to reduce about $3 million in expenditures. We've seen this coming. It has to do with declining enrollment. Enrollment across the state of Oregon is declining, and Lincoln County is not immune to that at all. But if you remember, right before we went out for the bond, we did a demographic study to see what our population looked like it would be. We were projected to lose about 1,000 students in 10 years. We've already lost over 500 since COVID. And so that's a big chunk of students. So we've really been monitoring that and making sure that we are right-sizing our budget every year, because the funding follows that next year, and you don't want to get caught behind on that. So this year we had to reduce another $5 million in funding, and we also lost the wildfire relief money that had come with the Otis fires, and so we had reductions that we needed to take care of because of that. So we've done that through reducing classroom teachers in areas where enrollment was declining. So far, that has been at the elementary level. So we've continued to right-size the budget that way. With declining enrollment in the buildings, there isn't a need for as many administrators at the building level. And so we've done some administrative reductions, including at the district office. And then we've had some classified or support staff reductions, as well as looking just at the overall budget and taking discretionary funding reductions for every single department in the district. So there wasn't any department that didn't realize part of what that reduction would look like. We're really trying to be conscious of our spending and look at exactly where our dollars going. Tech is a really good example of that. Technology is really, really important. It also needs to be utilized correctly, and it needs to be maintained correctly. And so really refining our systems in that, on looking at usage rates and looking at fix rate versus damage rate and all of that, and making sure that we're using it correctly so that we're maintaining it appropriately.
And when it comes to the budget, can you talk a little bit about how you get your funding? Where do you get your funding dollars from? I know we all know part of it's from the state, part of it's from the county. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the We get it through property taxes. So we get our funding, not just the bond, but we also get, education funding through property taxes. We get it through the state school fund, and those two balance each other out to make sure that we're getting the dollar amount that everybody's getting across the state, regardless of which funding stream it comes in. We also have a lot of grants. So we have federal grants, and we have some different state grants. We have a student investment account that is a large chunk for us. That has allowed us to have music teachers at the elementary school, counselors at the elementary school. It's increased nurses and the capability there, bilingual customer service, especially in North and West counties, so that we're able to better support our families and our students there. In the past, it has fully funded athletics when that account came in, but at this point, we can't maintain that. We've had to bring pay to play back for next year for our athletic programs, which was really disappointing, and we didn't want to do it, but we also really had to look at where are we using that chunk of money? And so that was one area.
Is there ability for scholarships? I know that there's programs that help out.
Yes, yep, for sure. So all of our athletic directors, building principals, and then our district athletic director, Deputy Superintendent Aaron Baloney, they've been working on that. So what will that look like so that we can support families? Because the last thing we want when we bring something like a pay to play back is to make it so some students can't participate.
Right.
And so we want to do everything we can to remove barriers to make sure that they're still able to play.
Are you also still working with the private schools for them to be able to participate in sports as well?
Yeah, so last year, that was one of the conversations with the board, is what does that process look like for private school and homeschool participation so that we're consistent across the district on that. And so that was another charge that went to the athletic department at the district office, but to work collaboratively with private schools to put a system in place for that. So yeah, they'll be able to participate.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, I know we've got a lot to cover. CTE, let's talk a little bit about that and your collaboration with Oregon Coast Community College.
Yeah, so that's just continuing to blossom, and it's really, really cool. They have been able to add a forestry natural resources program, a non-extraction program at Oregon Coast Community College that's going to offer dual credit for our two natural resources.
Non-extraction?
They're not. It's not a logging type program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so they're starting that. It's directly aligned with Oregon State University. So starting next year, students that go to Walport High or TAF 712 will be able to start in dual credit programs through Oregon Coast Community College in their natural resources CTE courses that they can stay at OCCC if they want, or they could transfer to Oregon State University and continue. So it's a big expansion for us there. We're really excited. Toledo Culinary is completely taken off. I've been at a couple events they've catered this year, and it's fantastic. So yeah, lots of great things happening in CTE.
And that's great that, because for a while, Lincoln City was the only school that offered the culinary program. They're still doing well?
Yep, yeah, they're doing well. They just got back from their Skills USA competition, and they had, I think, 2 students qualified to go to nationals, but it's the same day as graduation. So they they have opted to graduate with their peers and not go to the national tournament this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, there's next year, and that's a big accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And let's see. Anything else?
I know. I'm looking. I think I've covered most of what's on here. Yeah. Oh, we did get a summer school grant.
So yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about summer.
Yeah, we did get a summer school grant. The state changed the formula. So the last few years, we've qualified for a large amount of money. We've been able to offer a K-12 summer school program. And this year, we made the decision with the funding formula changing and the application changing that we wanted to make sure that we got the money we needed for our most vulnerable learners. And we look at that as K-6 and K-6 literacy specifically. And how can we get K-6 kids to continue their education over the summer? So we only wrote the grant for an elementary focus for learning this year. And we were successful, and a lot of schools didn't get the grants. So we were very, very thankful that we were able to be fully funded at the amount we put in for. And so that opened up yesterday for all K-6 students in Lincoln County. The charters don't count in that, but Siletz Valley School applied for a grant, and they also got a summer learning grant. Yeah. Yay! So they're doing their summer learning as well. They'll have a different model than us, which is another thing that's different with charters. They don't have to do the same thing that we do, which is a great thing about them. And so, but they will have summer learning out there as well. So that's getting ready to take off. We will still do credit recovery for high school students who may be credit deficient so that they can get back on track over the summer and keep all their electives and things during the school year. So that'll still happen.
And are you still working with community partners with that summer program?
Yes. Yeah. Neighbors.
Particularly one in Depot Bay.
Yes. Neighbors.
It's close to my heart.
Yeah. Neighbors for Kids. And then Yachats Youth and Families is, they're part of the summer learning as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be really, really great.
Yeah.
And it's so important for the kids to be able to continue that, to stay on track, because, it's hard for parents to find a place for their kids to be able to go during the summertime, and making sure that they're still reading, they're still writing, they're still doing some math, they're still doing some science things.
Right.
So those programs are really important, and we're very grateful that those grants came through.
Yes. Yeah. And we're very thankful for our facilities department right now, because we also have a lot of bond construction going on, and they really need those buildings to be empty in the summer, and that's not happening. So there's been a lot of work with First Student Transportation, Sodexo Food Service, and the facilities department on where we will have our students for summer learning, and they've worked out a great plan.
Summer learning tents at a local school near you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. Dr. Tolan, anything else you'd like to add as we wrap up?
I don't think so. I hope everybody has a really great summer, and we're really excited for next year, already planning on what that will look like. There's a lot of changes that'll be happening, and I feel really strong about our district and the strength we have in our district to make those changes positive, and look forward to next year.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera. We are sponsored by The Human Bean in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101. You can find them in Lincoln City at the north end of the highway on the west side next to TLC Credit Union. Thanks for joining me. I'm Kiera Morgan.